Flosstube. My name's Emer and I am the Irish Stitcher. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. This is a channel primarily about cross stitch, and I have a lot to talk about today. It's been very exciting this last month. I've got a lot of stitching done. I've got a haul, I've got a start, I've got a finish, and believe it or not, that start and that finish, those are the same item. I am very impressed. I also just wanted to mention before I forget, because I forgot in my last video, I got a Lowry stand. I love it. I love it. Love it. I actually bought it at the November Retreat. Lady was selling it. And I have been really wanting one. The shipping from the UK is like give or take €1,000,000. And you know, when I got a good deal on it, I was like, yeah, I will take it. So I kind of made the final decision at about like midnight on the Saturday. Cue me like bringing down my suitcase, us breaking it up, trying to figure out, okay, if we set the base plate like this, we put the arm in like this, okay, now where are your clothes gonna go? But we eventually managed to fit it. I did have to check the suitcase on the way home because this is quite heavy steel, and it did mention on the Ryanair website that anything even like a tennis racket or a golf club could be considered a weapon and had to be checked. So I figured that this like metal contraption, it'd probably have to be checked. So it was fine. It stayed below the 10 kilo at a small suitcase. So it was €20 to bring it home. Still a fraction of what the shipping to Ireland would have been, believe it or not. And then I would have also gotten hit with VAT and customs and handling fees. It just really stacks up when you're trying to import anything from the UK, especially if it's heavy. Which that's not a ton, but like it's bulky, it's relatively heavy. So yeah, that's been an absolute game changer with my stitching. That combined with my little Glocky Scent neck light, I credit that for how much stitching I got done this month. It's been great. Going to start with my whips. First up, we have Night Walked Down by the Blue Flower. This was something that I hadn't worked on in a while, but seeing it in my project stash tour really made me want to work on it. So I am doing this on 40 count truffle Newcastle linen, 2/2. I already said 2/1, that would be insane. And I really love the coverage. It's a little bit bulky maybe, but especially because there's a decent amount of 310, especially in her hair and the cat, and I wanted that nice coverage. Sorry, I think I knocked the camera stand a little bit, so if there were any tremors, that was my fault. I'm not sure what the pattern called for. Looking at the stitching, looking really close and looking at some of the, like that little example at the back, it looks like it's done over one, but then some of the colours called for a blend of DMC colours. I am just using the DMC, Weeks Dye Works and Gentle Arts. They're beautiful. I just tend not to use them unless I think it will really add something. So for example, the kind of green in her dress, while I fold it, that is a blend, and I hope it's coming out nicely. That was called, yeah, it was Seaweed, Gentle Arts Seaweed, and then it's a blend of 500 and 924, and I really like how the blend came out. Actually, it's a lovely colour. 500 is a nice that rich green, and then 924 I think is a darker colour. Looks like a dark charcoaly colour. I just think it's gives it quite a nice effect, and I love the colour of that truffle. I hear truffle, I think brown, but this is quite pinky. Yeah, it's lovely. I was kind of surprised when I came back to it. I was like, 40 count? Really? But that's what it calls for, so I guess I just went with what it told me to do. That's been fine, shockingly. Having both the stand and the light has made 40 count easier. And I have to wonder if the 40 count was the reason why I put it away and kind of forgot about it. Was it kind of a, I don't really want to touch it. I don't know. Yeah, it's nice. Next up, Dewdrops by Nora Corbett. I made in my last video, I had made a ton of progress on her in a week, and I was making quite good progress. And then she got put in the naughty corner. She annoyed me quite a lot. I think last you saw her, I had the dress and the legs done. So what I have started to do is I have finished the top of the dress. I've done a little bit of her wings. I've stitched, that's actually most of her face that's covered. A lot of it's covered by her fringe, some of her hair, some of the arms. I have had to frog so much of this project. And normally if there's a mistake, like there was a mistake in the skirt of her dress, and I just fudged it. But because I need her arms to be in the right place because they're holding the leaf, I need all of that to line up. So I've had to frog a lot. The worst was I miscounted starting her arm, and her arm was coming out of like the top of her dress, going up like over where her face would have been, which is just silly. So I do want to get back to her. She just needed a little bit of a timeout. I just needed a break. It's fine. Looking at the fabric, God, I'm reminded of how pretty it is. I love this fabric is Rain Stops Play by Chromatic Alchemy. And it's this lovely like pale blue with splotches of pink through it. Really, really nice. Next up, Andromeda. She is sitting on an absurdly large rock. Like, I knew what it looked like, and then I went to stitch it. I was like, why is this so big? But I think I have made great progress. Ta-da! When you last saw her, trying to hold it up, this part of the rock was done. None of this was done, and I had done a little bit over here. I am very, very proud of what I've got done. I actually only put her away because I wanted to work on a couple of other things. Some great progress made. There's still a lot to be done, all that water. I still have to do that weird pointy bit of the rock that's covered in her dress fabric. You know, there's still a lot to do. I have the beading, I have to finish her hair. There's kind of some more of her dress around the front leg. But she's getting there. And I have done a significant portion of that blacks and greys, and it's great. Really, really pleased. Yeah, she's been doing well. She's in my good books at the moment. Long may she stay in my good books. Next up, Maidens of the Seasons. Lovely piece. Last you saw her, I had the face stitched on Spring, who is the lady in the blues and greens. But not insignificant amount of work into her, but it feels like not a ton of progress either. I've been working on the lilacs up at the top border because it's a little tedious to do all the kind of purple confetti and the greens, and I much rather stitching the lady herself. She's gorgeous. I made an effort to get through her hair. I think that's all of her hair done except for what is called for in beads. I think she looks great. I love it. I can't wait to do some more. Yeah. I'm going to talk about a little bit more about this later. So setting it to one side for now. Oh, we're on haul already. Wow. Okay, so I had put in a 1-2-3 stitch order a month or two back. It arrived, it actually got here reasonably quickly. It did sit in Chicago for about 2.5 weeks. That's fine. The last time I ordered from 1-2-3 stitch was like 3.5 months shipping time. It was absurd. And I got a couple of nice pieces. And the reason for this order was I have a friend who had a little, I think I mentioned this in my last video, has a little seasonal area, and there's a really nice autumnal stitch, and they have little like salt and pepper shakers that are shaped like toadstools, a little basket with pumpkins and dried leaves and pine cones, and it is beautiful. And what they do is they just swap it out for every season. They have like a plastic bin with their decorations, and every season or event they just swap it out. So I said, right, I want to do that. Like I've talked about buying this house before, we are getting so close to the end, and come the new year we can begin the process of making it our own. So exciting. And part of that is it'd be such a small piece of the house, but I'm going to have my little seasonal table. So that's why I put in this order, to get some pieces for that. First up is a piece of 32 count Feldspar Belfast linen by Picture This Plus. Yeah, I got a small piece because I don't have anything in mind for it, but I just thought it was a nice piece. It's a kind of a purpley grey. I think the camera's picking it up relatively well. It's quite nice. No idea what I'll do in it. Never hurts to have some fabric. Next up is a piece which I think I do have a plan in mind for. This is 40 count Tyco linen. The pictures online, and it's really hard to get a good, it's kind of a creamy parchment with pale grey splotches. I think I might do the Dreamer on this. It's showing up as maybe a little bit paler on the camera than it is in real life. I know I had bought that Moonlighting, that dark blue fabric for the Dreamer, and I just think it's too dark for her. I think it's too bold. And I've been kind of resisting the notion of doing it on a pale neutral. But I think that's what I'm going to have to do. I think she's going to look great in it. And there's enough going on in the design that this won't subtract from it. My next question for myself though is, if I do it on 40 count, do I do it 2/2 or 1/2? I liked the coverage on night walks down with the 40 count over 2, but I worry that for such a large piece as the Dreamer, would she be too bulky? I don't know. I am also going to need to swap with beads for the smaller versions, but that's fine. It calls for like 2 packets of beads. That will be an easy substitute. But yeah, I think I finally settled on the colour. She might be a New Year / birthday start for myself. We shall see. In contrast to the Dreamer, which is a giant piece, this one is a lot smaller. This is Season's Greetings by Little Home Needleworks. Little House Needleworks. It's cute, it's small. That's going to be one of the pieces that I can do and just put in my little seasonal corner, or it can go in the tree. I don't know. It will be done just like a neutral. For example, I have this sand linen. It is sand coloured. Like that might be the call for. One moment. That might have been why I bought the sand colour. No, the model is stitched on R&R Reproductions, but I still might have bought this piece. As you can see, it's only half the piece that I bought for this. Don't know. Who knows what I was planning like 2 months ago. Next up is what's it called? Promise of Spring by Silver Creek Samplers. Spring is my favourite season, and this is a winter piece, but it reads, "No winter lasts forever, no spring skips its turn." And that message just is really, really lovely. Like, yes, it is literal, no winter will last forever, but also, you know, the metaphor, like, no hard time's going to last forever, a spring will come. And I just think that's such a beautiful sentiment. And I actually bought the call for fabric. This is Tarnish, probably 32 count. Yeah, 32 count Tarnish Belfast linen by Picture This Plus. I'm honestly a little surprised that I haven't started this already. I'm so excited for it that I started something smaller instead, which is why it's also a finish. But that's probably the favourite thing that I've ordered. Next up is Season's Blessings 2 by Leela's Studio. I assume Season's Blessings. One was an autumn and winter piece. I think both of these are really cute. I'd honestly stitch both of them. And I got a ancient Newcastle linen for them. It called for... Sorry, I just realised that these splotches are darker on the back than on the front. Is that a thing that linen does? I don't normally do something with splotches quite so contrasting to the base colour. I just don't think I've ever noticed it. But this calls for Oaken, if I picture this plus. 123 Stitch didn't have any in stock, but their colour matcher recommended this as like a good substitute. And yeah, I think it got it right. I'll probably do it on the softer side. The splotches are quite heavy on one side. My question for y'all, where does one buy the little wooden chopping board things? Can I get those in 123 Stitch? What are they? Like, what am I looking for? Is it just like a small chopping board? Do I have to paint them myself? I think the design's really cute. I just don't know what I'm looking for. Where do I acquire something like that? If you know what they're called or where I can buy them, let me know. Next up, this isn't a pattern or fabric, this is just some finishing material. This is a self-stick mounting board. It claims to be ideal for needlepoint and cross stitch. It's acid free, repositional, super sticky. Like it's just you peel off the paper and stick it on the sticky bit. And I assume that I could use it for something like this to mount it and then mount it to the tiny chopping board. Yeah, no immediate plans for it. I just figured I'd pick up a small piece of it, use it, and if I like it, yeah, I'll buy more. Next up is, I will start off with showing you the pattern, then the finished item, and kind of the little bit I got to do it with. This is Well-Rounded Perennial Pinwheels by Hands On Designs. There are 12 designs included in this. And this stood out because of my plans to make a seasonal area. I don't know, I probably won't stitch them all, but I might do one from each season maybe. I particularly, for winter, which is what I took a look at because I figured we're coming into winter, we're coming into Christmas. I can get one of these finished and actually display it for this Christmas. So I really like this one and this one. I quite like all of the bottom row and the middle row, and I'm less fond of the top row. I think they're maybe just a little too busy for my liking. But they're all lovely. Like, I could happily stitch any of these. I especially love the blue fabric they picked for autumn. Really cool. But anyway, like I said, I started one of the winter pieces. I picked Winter Wishes, the middle one. It is done on the 32 count sand linen. Here you go. Ta-da! I used DMC for this. It gives you the option of... Oh, no, sorry. I thought it gave you the option of Fancy Floss or DMC. It's just DMC. So I used most of the called for colours, and some of them I just substituted in whatever I have. The red, I didn't have the called for red, but I had left over, I think it's called Tomato, and it might be a Gentle Arts. It's one of those nice flosses. You can't really see much, there's not much of a variegation, but I'm going to tell myself that it benefits from it. And I also bought the finishing kit for them. Now this contains 6 discs of 3 different sizes, but to finish one you need 2 discs. So it comes with enough to finish all 3 from one season, or one big one, one medium one, and one small one, basically. So I have the cotton batting. I actually don't have a backing fabric picked out yet. I'm sure I have something appropriate in stash. even if it's just a neutral color, like no one's going to be looking at it. And I got some like ribbony piping thing. What do they call it? Finishing supplies, twill tape. I don't think I got that, but I got something appropriate to go around the edges and make a little bow at the top. So once I'm done filming this, actually, I'm going to try and make an FFO, and I probably won't make maybe I will make a video out of it. I don't know. If I do make a video out of it, it will probably be a very brief video where I kind of stop and start filming and show, like, oh, you know, for example, I've cut out my batting, going to lace on the fabric, and I probably won't show me actually lacing on the fabric. And I can kind of just kind of cut then to, okay, I've laced it on. The next step is to lace on the front fabric, etc. I'm sure there are plenty of channels who film this kind of content and could probably do it better than me, but if you're interested, I'll show my process, which will probably be like a little bit janky, because I've just never done this before. I'm looking forward to it. It's really cute. I started this on Thursday night and this is Sunday, so that was 4 days of stitching. I didn't stitch any yesterday, so it was 4 days from start to finish, 3 days of actual stitching, and I'm really pleased with it. I probably didn't need to cut off as much off the linen as I actually did, but I figured for the first pinwheel I'd give myself plenty of room, that I wouldn't be going, oh, why didn't I leave a bigger margin? I don't need that stress. And that is all, somehow. Yeah, that's all my haul. I did mention earlier, however, that I wanted to come back to Maidens of the Seasons. This is getting a little bit into 2023 planning / future planning. I'll probably do a more in-depth video on it once I have my own ideas fully thought through. But I was thinking of this pattern and how long it might take me. I would like to set myself a goal of a lady a year, not counting 2022. So I would like spring done in 2023, summer 24, autumn 25, winter 26. If all goes according to plan, on one hand, it sounds insane to be like, this piece will take me 4 years to do. But on the other hand, a lady a year, that's quite tight, especially when I'm not a monogamous stitcher. It's upside down. Like, this is a large piece. So my rough plan is to finish this ginormous piece for my 30th birthday. That also feels insane to say, to plan that far ahead. But I think it's doable. So I'm going to set that intention now that I will work on a lady a year. I might take a look at the pattern and see about, can I split it into roughly equal 12 part kind of vertical strips for a lady, so I can kind of have a timeline for myself of, am I on track to finish this lady this year? And I fully expect that, like, there might be a month where I don't touch it, and then there'll be a month where I touch nothing but that piece, and we'll get a couple of rows done. But yeah, I think it's a nice goal, and that'll be a nice birthday present to myself in 4 years' time, getting that framed, because that will not be cheap to frame. Other rough plans, I'd love to finish Andromeda in 2023. I think that's doable. I had hoped to get a lot of Lakapati done. Like, I knew she wouldn't be finished this year, and I'm not sure that finishing her next year is achievable either if I'm setting out to do Andromeda, spring, plus other ladies. I will be joining the Fancy Lady Cell. I don't know if a name's been decided for that yet. I know I want to start Maguayan, the newest Bella Filipina. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I have Gaia kitted up and ready to go. I have the Dreamer now kitted up and ready to go with my new fabric. That's a lot of fancy ladies, and I have other non-fancy lady plans, like my seasonal setup. I'm sure I'll want to stitch some stuff for gifts. Like some of the Nora Corbetts have been really grabbing my attention because I think they're really pretty, and they're just smaller than Mirabilis and Bella Filipinas. Honestly, the only thing that I don't have any plans to touch is like a giant full coverage. They just intimidate me a little bit. So yeah, look forward to a more fleshed out, better thought through plans for 2023 in the future. It feels a little insane to me that I'm like, I am planning my hobbies 4 years in advance. But you all understand. You're cross stitchers. You know how these things work. As always, let me know what you're working on in the comments below. I love getting comments. They make my day, and I got quite a few comments on my last 2 videos, and it just makes me so happy. I'm still in the stage of I'll get a notification and I'm like, Alan's my partner. I'm like, Alan, I got a lovely comment on my Flosstube. And he's just like, that's nice, dear. Good job. He has actually gotten back into cross stitching as well. He was previously working on the collectors by Autumn Lane Stitchery. I don't have his stuff with me. And then he has recently seen we enjoy tabletop board games, so he's seen like a 20-sided dice, but it's just the outline of it, and then the fill is like a really cool watercolor looking dragon flying over some trees. That's cool. And I don't have that to show you because he's actually out for the day, and he has taken it with him because he had an hour bus journey to get to where he's going, and he's an hour bus journey back, so he's gonna stitch, which is great. It's really nice. We like we're watching Better Call Saul at the moment. He's seen it, I haven't. So we stick that on Netflix some evenings, and we both just have our stitching, or he does some of like his painting miniatures, and we're chilling together. We're doing our hobbies together, and it's lovely. Really nice, really cozy. Close the curtains, make some hot chocolate, stitch together. It's so nice. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling.